Hey guys, so I kind of wanted to show you a tutorial on how I made the folio I posted a few days ago. So this guy, so I just take a 12 by 12 plain piece of paper. This is just going to be a template, right? So I'm just going to show you the basics of what I did. So I'm going to trim this down to 6 inches. I'm going to cut it right in half. So then you have two 6 by 12 pieces, and then we're going to trim that down too. So let's do one step at a time. So I'm going to take my handy dandy trimmer, take it at 6 inches, trim. So now you have two 6 by 12 pieces of paper, right? So then we're going to start our folio. I'm going to create a 4 by 6. So in order to do that, we're going to take one of these pieces and we're going to trim this down to 8 inches. So that way when it folds in half, it's 4 by 6. My bad. New to the camera world, so super sorry. So then we're going to take your 6 by 8 and we're going to score this at the 4-inch line. Like so. Okay. And then if you have a bone folder or whatever, or use your finger, fold it in half, and then give her a pretty good score. That way it's a crisp fold. So now you have your base for your folio. So this is a 4 by 6. Okay, so we're going to put this off to the side. Now what's nice is you're left over with a 4 by 6. So this is actually fits right on top, right? So you can use this to reinforce your cover. You can create pockets out of this. You can cut it in half, and then this can be your top fold, your bottom fold, however you want it to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually cut it from corner to corner, and it's going to give me 2 pockets. So that way I'm going to move you over here so you can see what I'm doing. So corner to corner, take your trimmer, like so. So now you have your 2 pockets. And then these can lay inside, like so. And these can be pockets. So we'll lay all this to the side. Now we want to create another flip out. So in order to do that, we're going to grab our other 6 by 12 trimmed piece. And we're going to trim this at 4 1/4. And the reason why is we're going to use that quarter to glue down. So I'm going to score right at the 4. Okay? Like so. So now you have this nice score. You have 1/4 inch. Okay? We can make more stuff out of this. So take your bone folder. I'm going to fold this over and give it a nice crisp score fold. And then I like to cut my corners of this fold so that way it doesn't get in the way of your folding. So you'll take your little scissors and then you'll trim right at the corner of the score. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. So then you're left with that, because you're going to glue this piece down. Okay, so then this piece can get glued. You'll fold it and then you'll lay it right along your line and glue it down, and then it'll shut. Okay, so you could use glue, you can use double-sided tape, whatever your heart desires. You can use glue stick, Fabri-Tac, crafting glue, glitter glue. I have double-sided tape, but I think for this one I'm actually just going to use Fabri-Tac. I'm just going to do a little bit of glue, not a lot. I'm going to take it, I'm going to create my fold without trying to glue my fingers. I'm going to lay this down. I'm going to go right along the edge. Right at the edge. I'm going to lay it down. I'm going to press. So what I like to do is I like to get my base of the folio put together, and then I'll go back with my decorative cardstock and cut everything to size and glue it down. Because for one, that'll reinforce everything and make it thick if you don't have thick cardstock, which is totally fine. And I moved it, which is why I like to use glue, because you can move it into place before it dries, especially with Fabri-Tac, which is great because I think it holds really well over time. So then you have your folio, which looks like my trim did really well, but if you, when you fold it and you get this like bevel because it won't close perfectly, you just need to trim this piece down that we just glued on. Just trim it down right along the edge just a little bit, so that way when you lay it in here it'll fold beautifully fat. Okay. So then we can move on to another one. So you can keep building and building and building, right? So this can get bigger and bigger and bigger. So it depends on how much you want to add to it. We can do some flip ups, some flip downs. I do them all the same way. So you can take this. This is a, I don't know what this is. This will be an 8 by 7 3/4 by 6. So what you can do is you can trim it down to, and let's say, I might want to trim it at 4. Right? Because we want 4 inches across, and it depends on how tall you want it, your flip in. So if you want it to go half the page, you're going to want this to be 3 inches. If you want it to just be a 2-inch fold and create a pocket, you can do that. You can glue it down, or you can just have it flip up. Flip out. I want to do it at 2 inches probably, So I need to do it at 2¼ by 4, right? So I'm gonna trim out 4 inches first. So there's your 4-inch wide. So how tall do we want it? We probably, I'm gonna say about, let's say 2¼ 2.5. Let's do 2.5. Well, I don't know how I want it to look. I'm pretty picky, right? So I'm gonna say about there. Let's see how tall that is. That's about 2 inches. Yeah, so we'll do it about 2 inches. I think 2 inches is good enough for a pocket. Well, if you guys want to flip out, let's make it 3 inches. So that way we can do half the page. It'll be a little less than 3 because we're going to score it at 1/4. So we're going to do that. Right? So now I'm going to take it, I'm going to fold it. Sorry, I'm off camera. And you guys probably run a million thoughts through your head like I do. But I'm thinking out loud so you guys understand my process. Normally I don't. My husband would be like, what are you doing down there talking to yourself all night? It'll just go against the craziness that he already thinks I am anyway, so it don't matter. So then there's that piece, right? So then this is the same way. So this will fit here. So your first page. And you can round your corners, but you can do all that later. Like so. Perfect. Okay. So we're going to use glue. I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to glue this side, this little flap down. Like I said, glue stick, Fabri-Tac, art glitter glue, whatever it's called that I hear everybody talk about all the time. Double-sided tape, whatever fits your heart desire. So I'm going to go right to the fold, right to the line, the edge of the page. I'm going to lay it down. Make sure I'm not in the score because that'll mess up your fold. So it's nice to just fold it over, push it against the fold, push down real good, and then there's your other piece. So then this will lay over like so. So I hope that gives you a basic of how everything will turn out. So let's do these little pockets. And if you want the pockets to be decorative paper and you want a decorative background, you can go ahead and do your decorative background first and then create your pocket, glue those down. However you guys want to do it, but this will give your base. So I'm gonna glue my edge. Just a small line of glue. It's hard to do this with the camera in your face. I'm barely pushing on my glue bottle. And then you take it, I'll take it right to the corner. You back you up a little. right to the line. One good reason about working on glass, it'll just wipe off. I keep a whole pack of baby wipes. Because I am messy. Ta-da! Now you have your little pocket. Like so. So there's the start of your folio. What's nice is I can actually probably give you guys another idea. Maybe. This video is already long. I was thinking of creating, it's called a signature, I have found. Basically, you can just create some sheets of paper, fold them in half, and then you can sew them in here, and then you got paper. We might do that next time. This is just, I've videoed, YouTubed, watched people on Facebook. This is how I figured everything out. So here I have a little corner. This is an R7, R4, and an R10. I got this at Hobby Lobby. So now you can go through and then pick which round you want. Take it in here and you can round all your corners if you'd like. Like so. Just to me, it gives it a little bit of fancier look to it. And then you can ink all your edges if you'd like. Whatever you guys want to do. So that's the basics of how I started creating that folio. So, and then in the end, you'll have something that looks like that video that I showed you, this guy. So you can do all your flip ups and flip downs and all of that. So that's how I did it. And create your pocket. I did the pocket the same way. I just put 2 pieces of paper, folded it in half, but I scored it at a quarter on the fold. So I can show you how to do that real quick. So, create your pocket, right? So let's create a bottom pocket. So I'm going to take this, I'm literally going to fold it directly in half. Just give it a good crisp fold. And then on the fold, I did it this way. You do not have to. On the fold, you're going to score at a quarter. And I scored a few times because it's 2 pieces of paper. And then it gives you a fold. I'm going to fold it down. And I'm going to fold it both ways. So it will go both ways when you open it. Fold it the other way. And then to make it easier, I actually glued the piece together. So we can do that. Let's just put a little bit of glue. Glue that little piece together. Because that's what you'll glue down. Do the same thing. Trim your part down. And then so it'll look like that with a little wing. and then you'll glue it together. I got glue right along the center of it. That's one thing with Fabri-Tac. Stringy. And glue your sides down. Give yourself a little pocket. And then I use a punch, probably about 1.5 inches. So I have 1.5 inches punch. I always take these out if I can. There we go. The nice thing is see these little arrows on the side? This actually tells you exactly where you're centered in the circle. So this will give me your grab spot, right? For your, so you'll want to line it up directly on the arrow on both sides. Make sure you're kind of centered as much as you can be. And punch it. And there's your pocket. Ta-da! So I thought that was kind of cool. I just learned that by fiddling with it so much. I never saw anybody do it on a video. I actually learned that myself. So now we'll take this piece and we'll take it and we'll glue it at the bottom. It'll fit perfectly right here in the center. It doesn't matter which way you glue it down. Create your fold, go right along to your edge. This one's actually a little shorter than the page, so I'm going to try and center it within the page. Push down. And there's your little flip out pocket. So cute. And then you can round your corners on here too if you like. Ta-da! Okay. All right, guys. Have a good evening.